The Vince Lombardi Trophy, emblematic of professional football supremacy. And like the man for whom it's named, it calls for excellence. Each year, every team dreams of possessing it. But at year's end, only one can. Right now, that Super Bowl trophy is in the hands of the Washington Redskins. And Williams going deep. Sanders! Pitt wide open. 40, 30. And with that performance, MVP quarterback Doug Williams secured the starting position this year. But the champions did not stand pat in their quest to repeat. George Rogers was released in favor of Timmy Smith. The signing of all-pro free agent Wilbur Marshall redefined the price of talent and the value of defense. And Dexter Manley, star pass rusher, returns tonight after a 30-day drug suspension. Pro Bowler Charles Mann knows the Skins' dilemma.
For the Redskins to repeat, we have to be able to deal with the outside circumstances and situations that come up better than any other team in the National Football League, and we've been doing that a lot in the 80s.
And the newest change took place at 1 a.m. today as quarterback Jay Schrader, no longer a Redskin, will now call Los Angeles his home. Traded to the Raiders for tackle Jim Lachey, another consideration. 2 years ago, the Giants' dreams came true. Their future seemed bright, and their quarterback Phil Simms shined as none had before in a Super Bowl. Coach Bill Parcells and his team were on top of the football world. But they learned last year how quick a dream can become a nightmare. They were crushed. They were burned. They were beaten in every way. Now, as Bill Parcells enters this season, he hopes to recapture the glory of 2 seasons ago. But there are problems. At linebacker, All-Pro Karl Banks, the last of 3 holdouts to return, is not yet in top form. And, of course, the great Lawrence Taylor will not be in action tonight. His drug suspension clouding the Giants' efforts for a comeback. It's a great showdown with compelling questions. Many will be answered tonight. Welcome to the Meadowlands in New Jersey, just a few miles across the Hudson River to the magical lights of Manhattan in the city of New York. Giant Stadium, where there are so many stories to be told tonight. One of them, most certainly that of offensive tackle Carl Nelson for the Giants, number 63. Hodgkin's disease a year ago. He missed the entire season. He has battled back. He has also had shoulder surgery. The Giant fans, and there are many of them, they sell this stadium out every game. They have followed the progress, and he will start tonight. He's one of the favorites. He will be the 4th Giant that will be introduced. Let's go down to the field.
Introducing the Giants offense. At center, number 65, Burt. At right guard, number 68, Damian Johnson. At left guard, number 67, Bill Ard. At right tackle, number 63, Karl Nelson. At left tackle.
It's a wonderfully human story that is being saluted by this sellout crowd from Giant Stadium. The story of Nelson and his return. A few years with wide receivers. They just have not been able to get production from wide receivers, usually relying on their tight end, and in most cases over the years, last couple of years, Mark Bavaro.
Allegre, who missed 2 from 38 and 47 in their final preseason game against Cleveland last week, has a chip shot here. And puts it through. So as the half ends, the Giants at least come away with 3 on their only impressive drive of the half as they march down deep into Redskin territory. And at halftime at the Meadowlands, it's Washington 13 and the Giants 3. And we'll be back at Giant Stadium after this from your local station.
I wonder what goes through a quarterback's mind when he hears that all-out blitz called in the huddle.
3rd and 10 from the 40. Look out to the backside. The ball is loose. It is intercepted by George Martin, and that would figure. George Martin, who's played more games than any Giant in history.
That's the first interception Martin does not return for a touchdown.
And that's Pepper Johnson that comes on the blitz. Bill Parcells told us he was going to line Pepper Johnson up to the outside and have him try to be effective. The Redskins that time don't even block Johnson. Watch him come from the right side and hit Doug Williams just flush in the back. And the ball clearly not a pass. His arm was not moving forward at the time, and George Martin, as we talked about so many times before, in the right place.
Some of the things you lose in a play. Now watch Williams. He'll even try to make it look like a pass, even though he gets... Now that's again into the end zone.
Meanwhile, the crowd is taunting Manley, who is on the Redskins bench. Manuel goes in motion. Morris has a big hole and a touchdown.
Over Karl Nelson.
Behind
a big block by Mauled.
And Karl Nelson, the guy that does make a block, goes into a pass protection mode and works downfield and screens off the outside, and Little Joe makes the cut for the touchdown.
Raul Allegre for the extra point as the Giants try to get within 3. Hostetler puts it down. And the Giants, who were down 13-0, now trail 13-10. Joe Morris had been stymied to this point. In from the 9.
A great call by the Giants, going on the draw and the delay. Joe Morris, that's the most daylight this guy's seen since training camp, and he converts it into a touchdown. To think that he's still up in the air if he's been all the way through training camp. That's a rusty pass route right there by a receiver who hasn't had a great deal of practice.
33-yard attempt to tie it by Allegre. Perfect. And so the Giants, who scored at the end of the first half, have added 10 here in the third quarter and have caught the Redskins with 3:55 to play in the third quarter. 13-13.
You can go back to here. The Redskins, an effective drive. They move it outside their own 40 when they start back inside their 5.
And a bouncing snap and a block kick. Picked up by Flynn, of all guys. He's used to this. Touchdown. Reasons with a block. Flynn picks it up, and Flynn is in again, as he did last opening night against Chicago a year ago. A touchdown off a punt block.
Bad snap. Set that sequence into motion.
I believe Gary Reason's the guy with the block. Gary Reason's coming up the middle is the guy with the block, but Frank is right. It was a bad snap.
Mike Scully, I believe.
Watch to the right of the center, number 55, Gary Reason. Takes it right off of Cox's foot. And Flynn, as Al said, is indeed used to this. And Al, can you believe you and I had lunch yesterday and sat and talked about Tom Flynn?
A year ago against Chicago in that opener, off a block by, as I recall, Eric Howard, Flynn picked it up and went in. And the Giants have now scored 20 unanswered points after Allegre's extra point to make it 20-13.
Again, Gary Reason playing it smart, goes for the football, and Tom Flynn, the right man in the right place, a Monday night hero. Who could leave this? It didn't look so great that Bill Parcells couldn't wait to get him out.
He got out of there fast. He's one of the fastest getting back to the bench.
Under 8 minutes to play. 2nd and 5. Williams hit by Johnson. Loose ball, live ball. Jim Burt with it. Jim Burt is in for the touchdown.
This stadium is going to go bananas. They love this guy.
Of all guys.
Give Pepper Martin the credit.
Oh, yeah.
Pepper Martin hit Doug Williams in the back and knocked the ball loose. Pepper Johnson, I say Pepper Martin.
Well, he hit him
He
too.
might have hit me too.
That was a gas house gang play. You bet.
Pepper Johnson, give him credit. He beats Joe Jacoby and hits Doug Williams in the back. You'll see Johnson come in from the left of your screen. He beats Joe Jacoby upfield. Doug holding the football for a long time. It's hard to hold it that long. And Jim Burt taking a page out of the George Martin playbook. Heads for the end zone.
Art Taylor may not be here, but Pepper Johnson, Carl Banks, Andy Hedden, they are playing, well, if not over their heads, they're certainly reaching for a higher level tonight. They have played superb football.
Raul
Inspired.
Allegre.
And Jim Burt, with not the longest legs in the NFL, takes many steps to get to the end zone, but here's a look at it. At the top of your screen, look at Johnson spin to the outside and get around Jacoby. And watch these long legs churn to the end zone. Chop, 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 chop.